Hey everybody, how are you doing? And it is the first day of Detox, and as promised, I'm going to be sharing some soup recipes through the week. Now here's the cool thing. I've never made this recipe that I'm sharing tonight. And it is called the Deep Detox Cilantro, Spinach, and Sweet Potato Soup. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm stealing it from this book by Britton, called Naturally Nourished. I highly recommend it. There's some great recipes in here, and while not everything is on the Epic 5 plan, they're pretty darn close, and you can modify them pretty easily. So again, grab yourself books like that, and like I said, experiment a little bit. If you find a recipe that sounds really good, or if there's something that you really like, just start looking for how you can, make it a little bit more on plan. So I'm going to read you guys the ingredients list, and this is kind of a two-stage soup. I'm going to be cooking it in an Instant Pot, and this recipe itself is actually not calling for an Instant Pot. It's more like a slow boil for some time, but we're going to speed the whole process up and get it done very quickly with our Instant Pot. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the saute button. Boom, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on, I'm going to go ahead and put that on, there we go, on high saute. And that'll be warming up here for just a minute, and we'll go through the ingredients. So the first thing that we're going to do is cook some of these ingredients here. We're going to saute this, then we're going to be adding some broth, and then after that's all cooked and pressure cooked and done, we're going to be adding the last remaining ingredients, the green parts, the spinach, the cilantros, etc., and we're going to be blending all of that in the blender. So we're using the tools that we're using tonight are an Instant Pot and what's this called? A Ninja, our Ninja blender. So let's just go through the ingredients. They're pretty straightforward. You can see that mostly, actually I think everything that we have here is organic. I wanted to give you guys a couple of options though. The recipe calls for coconut oil. So we have some organic coconut oil, and it's a tablespoon of coconut oil. I'll read you the ingredients, but I'll go ahead and print these as well. So it calls for a tablespoon of coconut oil. I wanted to show you guys a substitute. I'm going to use the coconut oil for a number of different reasons, but mixed chain triglycerides, MCTs, from the coconut oil, but then also things like caprylic acids and caprolates complexes that are anti-yeast. And a lot of people do very well with coconut oil, and some people don't. And if you're one of those people that tends to run really high in cholesterol, specifically triglycerides and VLDLs, if you know that for sure, you may be one of those people that doesn't do really well with coconut oil. So we'll borrow a little bit from the plant paradox, Dr. Stephen Gundry, our colleague, and we're going to take a look at the California Olive Ranch. This is actually extra virgin olive oil, but they also have, avocado oils and other oils as well. What I like about this company is that they're on the safe list. They have good purity, they have good processing, it's cold pressed. It comes in a glass bottle, and with any of these oils, you're going to want to get it in a glass bottle. Just because we don't want the plastics, they're called plasticizers, but we don't want those plasticizers, which are typically what we would refer to as synthetic estrogens. I know that's weird, like BPA. We always hear about BPA, avoid BPA, and the plastics of BPA. What the heck is BPA? Bisphenol, BPA.
Bisphenol A.
Thank you, bisphenol A. Thank God Rachel's sitting around. But BPA was actually developed as a synthetic estrogen for hormone replacement therapy, and then it caused too much cancer and too many people died. So we said, hey, we can't take that internally, but it's totally safe to put in our plastics and put liquids inside those plastics and put heat through those plastics and sunlight, UV through those plastics, and then have that BPA leach into the contents, right? Well, we kind of ban the BPA, but I want you guys to know that the other plasticizers that are out there are just as bad. It's not like they're safer. So, look, I just want to show you guys glass jars for your oils. I just also wanted to show you my water container. It's steel, so let's get away from plastics. Let's use glass or metal, okay? So nonetheless, just a little bit on that. So we're going to have a little coconut oil, and I'm going to go ahead and put that 1 tablespoon of coconut oil directly into my, I'm glad I have two spoons here, directly into my, there we are. I'm going to have to use I'm going to have to go back and forth between these spoons to get the coconut oil out. There we go. We added that in, and that's beautiful. And coconut oil, like I said, is just brilliant for a lot of people, but switch to that other oil if you don't know. We use a lot of avocado oil and olive oil, EVO in our house as well. Then we're going to add in 2 onions. So, 2 onions. Very little expense with that. I've already chopped them up, and we're just going to add those in. And I need to grab a spatula real fast. There we go. So we're just going to add those in and just kind of get those cooking. Easy peasy. The next thing that we're going to do, let's see, is we're going to add in some sea salt. So this particular sea salt, we have a lot of different sea salts that we use, but this particular sea salt is a fine sea salt. I really do like it. There's another brand called, is it Baleen? Is that right? Am I saying it right? Baleen. I really like that sea salt as well. It's really, really fine and it mixes well. So we always get the fine sea salt when we're cooking because it mixes well into the flavor. I also like sea salt because it's high in a number of different minerals. Table salt, sodium chloride, is pretty much just that. It's sodium and chloride, whereas sea salt is going to be filled with a number of different minerals. Many different minerals depending on where they got the sea salt. Some contains iodine, some does not. Sea salt is generally not iodized, although you can buy iodized sea salt. This particular sea salt does not have extra iodine in it. So we want to put about a teaspoon of salt. And what I like about sea salt, again, here we are, is, let me try this one more time. What I like about sea salt is that for our energy production, for our adrenals to work well, for our hormones to work well, we need minerals, right? In fact, people always hear about adrenal fatigue and other effects of adrenal exhaustion, and we need to step back and remember that the adrenals make mineral corticoids. That's what gives us that reserve energy. That's what gives us that adrenaline or mineral corticoids. If we don't have enough minerals in our body, we're not going to be able to make those mineral corticoids, whatsoever. So again, remember that. Get plenty of minerals. On a different topic for a different day, we'll talk about taking minerals as a supplement if necessary. But again, minerals are important. And let's just back up and remember that the body is made out of 6 things and 6 things only: water, protein, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. And that's what we're representing right here in this cooking, right? So the next thing that we want to add is, let's see. Oh, I'm supposed to cook this for a number of minutes. So it says until it starts to brown. So let's just go ahead and walk through the rest of the ingredients. It's going to cook really quickly once those onions are cooked up. So the next thing that we're going to add in is going to be some garlic. So I went ahead and have 5 cloves of garlic ready to go here. And then we're going to add in some sweet potatoes, just 2 sweet potatoes. I just chopped them up, easy peasy. I think my prep time took, Rachel, what would you say, 5 minutes maybe? Total, and actually maybe like 6 minutes because I was setting it up for the camera as well. So we're going to add these 2 things in, and we're going to go ahead and cook that for just a couple of minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and add in the chicken broth. Now, this particular recipe calls for water. I'm going to be real honest with you. So again, out of Naturally Nourished, she's calling for water. But I had the pleasure of, I think it was a year or 2 ago, Rachel and I took a cooking class, and I've never taken a cooking class before. And I found out that if a recipe calls for water, and especially if it's a soup, and there's any reason to do this, we should always substitute it with chicken broth. So I have been ever since. And we always buy that here where we live. We go down to the market, go to the health section, and we get the organic. I think it's called Full Circle chicken broth. Sometimes we make our own if we have chicken, but this time I didn't. I used that brand, Full Circle organic chicken broth. The reason I use that brand, it's a little like $1 more for 4 cups, I believe, that comes in that package. It's like 25 cents more a cup than the non-organic kind. There are other organic versions that are out there that are, much more expensive than that. But at the same time, I don't know that you get more bang for your buck. So we buy a lot of Full Circle brand. You'll notice that this coconut oil is also for Full Circle. I don't know if this is. No, this is not. So nonetheless, get yourself, some chicken broth. I would substitute that. And it's going to call for 3 cups. We're just about ready to start adding all this stuff. And then once that's done, let's talk about all these pieces. Rachel said she wanted me to talk about all the pieces going in. So onions are full of allium. Allium is a chemical that is antimicrobial. It's restorative to the system. Garlic Garlic is also full of that. They're from the same family, the allicin family of vegetables. So garlic and onions have that chemical allium in there. They also, again, are just dense in minerals. Generally, when something is dense in minerals, they're kind of bitter to the taste, they're not really sweet to the taste. So again, the more savory, bitter that whatever you're eating is probably higher in minerals. So obviously, the sweeter it is, the higher it is in sugar. So you can use your taste buds as kind of an indicator of minerals, so to speak, to a certain extent. And these are just about done. The garlic and onions also have a lot of effect on blood pressure and cardiac health. In fact, there's a brand out there, I can't remember, Cayenne Garlic, I believe, that's been sponsoring a number of garlic studies looking at cardiovascular health and garlic, just garlic supplementation or eating garlic over the last like 20 years. So that body of evidence is really there. Sweet potatoes, really rich in fiber, really rich in what we're going to call slow to be absorbed and metabolized starches. We call those resistant starches. Really high in fiber, really high in potassium, and some other vitamins, minerals. Anything that's orange like this or yellow or red is going to be high in lycopenes and a lot of vitamins that are going to be very good for us as well, vitamin A's and etc. So we have a lot going on with just these ingredients, and I think our onion's just about done. It smells pretty good in here. All right. So a little bit longer. The chicken broth is full of, again, vital proteins and fats, vitamins and minerals, but really minerals. And also, depending on the brand that you get, certainly the organic brand is going to be a little richer in this. They're going to be high in different types of hormones and immunological, really good. I said hormones like it's a good thing. But I'm referring to something called the thymus gland and some of the thymus hormone that gets put off. Humans don't have a very well-developed thymus gland after a certain age. It actually starts to shrink. The thymus gland helps us with our first line of defense with colds and flus and things like that, right, including things like the coronavirus. So there is evidence that chicken broth all by itself, can help, again, with the immune system. So I think that's fantastic there. And then I'm going to stir this one more time and we'll talk about the rest of this. Then we have our greens. That's going to be our cooking part. When it's done and we transfer, we'll add the greens. We're going to add spinach. Spinach, of course, green, roughage. It's a green leafy vegetable. It's full of, what we call phytonutrients or plant nutrients. And also spinach, of course, known for its iron, right, Popeye? So iron rich. Cilantro, also very rich in minerals. Anything that's green and leafy is going to be rich in minerals. But cilantro has a unique space in the Epic 5 in that cilantro and parsley help upregulate the detoxification pathways in the liver. So all that junk that's coursing around in your body, we can help get that out. In fact, if we look at things like lead and mercury in the scientific literature, cilantro has just about as good of a biological effect as drugs that we use like EDTA, DMSA, and other chelating agents, drug chelating agents. So we have our patients just eat cilantro all day long, every day. Add it to whatever you can, right? And then we have lemon juice. Lemon juice for the Epic 5, remember, we want to stimulate digestion. And we're talking about that. We want to stimulate the pancreas to release digestive enzymes, and we want to stimulate the liver and the gallbladder to release bile and bile salts so that we can start breaking down our foods more, digesting our foods more, so we can start getting the fuel and the nutrients out of our food and not leave those large food particles in our guts. We're not digesting things and not getting the nutrients that we need, right? So again, the lemon juice is very stimulating to the pancreas, to the liver, to the gallbladder. I know some of you might be saying, hey, I don't have a gallbladder. Guess what? It's still stimulating to the liver. We need acids in our diet. Acids help with digestion. They kill off pathogens. Again, they stimulate the liver to release bile salts and bile acids. They stimulate the pancreas, release digestive enzymes, break that food down even more, so that we can feed that healthy probiotic bacteria and break down those foodstuffs. There we go. Now it's turning around. We're caramelizing now. Break down those foodstuffs into smaller micronutrients. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the garlic. We'll let this cook for a minute, and then I'll add in the potatoes. Perfect. Awesome. Let me just stir this guy up. We're looking good. It smells pretty good too. What do you think, Rach? Awesome. And I'll just let that cook for a minute while I'm finishing this out. The last ingredient that we have, guys, is just cayenne pepper. And it's only a pinch to maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. A little goes a long way. It gives a little zing. I like cayenne pepper, and again, to kind of step back and look at things like cayenne pepper versus pepper flakes, red peppers, and etc. You know, we talk a lot about lectins. Lectins are, the most famous lectin, of course, is gluten. They are noxious chemicals to the human system. All grains, not just wheat, all grains have lectins. All nightshades have lectins. So potatoes, not sweet potatoes, but white potatoes, so not sweet potatoes, not yams, but other potatoes, eggplants, tomatoes, and peppers, so bell peppers, right? But it's only in the skin and the seeds of the food. So when we have, things like cayenne pepper or chili powder, those powders are made out of the meat, and they take the skins and the seeds, the hot part, and they make those into the pepper flakes, the hot red pepper flakes that you can sprinkle on things, right? Now, I want to be clear, peppercorn, like from black peppercorn, is not the same as a bell pepper, right? So just to make sure that the cooking spice pepper is different than the pepper, the fruit and vegetable. It's a fruit that a lot of people call it vegetable. Cool. So last thing we're going to add here before we seal her up is going to be the sweet potatoes. Just going to mix those guys around just a little bit. You can see how quickly this goes, right? Perfect. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I seal this is just add my 3 cups of broth, right? So 1, and this will be 2 and 3. Awesome. Cool. Cool. And so I'm just going to stir that around just for a minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my Instant Pot lid on. And cool. Make sure that it's set. Sweet potatoes. So if we were going to boil this on the stove, we'd have to boil this for like 20, 30 minutes, right? But in the Instant Pot, we're only going to cook this, and it depends if you want your potatoes really mushy. I want my potatoes really mushy because I'm going to end up blending this into a pulverized, liquefied soup, right? So I'm going to want to cook those just a little bit. So I'm going to add on an extra minute. Typically, though, potatoes are 3 minutes or so. They're very, very short. So I'm just going to cook this in the Instant Pot for about 3 minutes, and then we'll let it get the steam out, and then we'll come back and transfer and then finish up with what we're doing. So I'm just going to push pause, and we'll pick it up from here. All right. Well, our soup is cooked, and I wanted to correct. I said 3 minutes. It's 5 minutes, guys. I had to look at the recipe again and again. I'm modifying this recipe in this book for Instant Pot. So it's a 5-minute cook. I apologize about that. White potatoes are 3 minutes. Yams and sweet potatoes are 5 minutes, especially if you want them to get them really creamy. So now that they're done and it's been depressurized, it's real simple. We just kind of take that lid off. It smells super good in the kitchen right now, in the Bradley kitchen. And so the next thing that I want to do, very simply, and we'll see how simple this is, but I'm going to want to transfer this into my blender and then basically puree it, liquefy it, until it, there we go, until it, it's liquefied, I guess. I'm kind of repetitive, but there you go. Perfect. So again, I'm not doing anything with the greens yet. So I'm just transferring my hot broth, garlic, salt, onions, sweet potatoes, over to the Ninja, the blender. We're going to put this guy on. Perfect. And great. And then all I'm going to do now is liquefy. So this might be loud, and I apologize. We'll see what happens, right? I'm just going to let that run for just a minute. Awesome. Well, I think we're pretty good there. Yeah, I'm digging that, right? So that's 1 second. There we go. I had to release it. The steam built up in there, right? So we're pretty much done with that part. The next thing that I want to do is put the cilantro, the spinach, the lemon juice, and the cayenne in there. So just a little FYI, this calls for 2 cups of, what does it say, hard-packed spinach. Turns out I got one of these. I'm sure you've seen these bins before. You know, again, we just got some organic baby spinach, easy peasy. And it says net weight 5 ounces. But when I took my measuring, I measured this just to see what I needed before we started. This actually compacts down to 2 cups. So five weight ounces of baby spinach is about 2 cup of mass ounces, or 2 cups of mass of the spinach here. And again, this is 2 cups of cilantro, and I'm just using a Pyrex, 2 cup Pyrex for that. So I'll probably do this in stages because there's a lot of vegetables going in, but I'm going to go ahead and add in first and foremost my lemon juice, and it says a tablespoon, but I'm not going to measure it out. I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to call that about a tablespoon. And then this says somewhere between a pinch and at max a quarter of a teaspoon. So I'm just going to do one of those guys just to give it a little zing, and that's all I'm going to do. Now, I had an idea of adding some turmeric or ginger or something like this to give it a zing, because those are some other detox agents that we can use, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow night. I'm going to make a chicken soup, a detox chicken soup, and I might even make it, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say what we're going to make, but it's going to be chicken soup, and it'll have turmeric and ginger in it as well. So we're going to take these 2 cups of spinach, and we're just going to kind of put these guys in there. And like I said, I might need to do this in a few stages, just because I don't want my blender to explode. But boy, if I can get the cilantro in there, what do you think? I think it's going to be a challenge. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to add a little bit, and oh yeah, I think I can do this. And again, I've never made this before, guys, so I'm experimenting along with you guys. I make a pretty mean chicken soup, but a green soup, this is usually Rachel's. And in fact, I think last detox that we did, Rachel was doing some green smoothies and some green soups and things like that. Oh man, I'm digging this now. This is great. I got all my ingredients in there, and I thought I was for sure going to have to, you know, do a couple rounds of that of adding things in. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and run this for a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of time to run, and I'm going to revolve that a little bit, and I'm going to probably have to push things down a little bit more too. Perfect. So let me just do one of these guys, and I'm going to push some of this down using my spatula just to kind of get it down near the blades. Perfect. So it's coming. We're getting there. It was just very, very full. And I think this might be the last run. I think we're going to be done. It smells delish. If it tastes half as good as it smells, it's going to be great. And I'm super excited. Cool. Here we go. So again, I'm just going to let that run for a minute. And I'm really, really digging this. Yeah, it smells great. Oh man, it smells so fresh. I'm gonna run it just a little bit more, and just see if I can get that a little bit thinner. But I'm really digging this. So, and that's it, guys. That's literally the whole soup. So, I think from start to finish, that was probably 20 minutes with the video. But again, that's with me prepping everything, chopping everything up for you, walking through ingredients and doing this and doing that. All in all, I would say it was about 5 minutes of prep, 5 minutes of cooking the onions, and I probably could have gone maybe 7 minutes there. So we're up to like 12 minutes, and then just transfer over after that. We're at like a 15 minutes soup for the whole family. This will feed us definitely tonight. Tonight we're a family of 3, sometimes we're a family of 4, and sometimes there's guests, but tonight we're a family of 3. This will definitely feed us tonight. I don't know what our cost into this soup is, but it's really not a whole lot. A tablespoon of coconut, a dash of this, a dash of that, a couple onions, a couple sweet potatoes. I think the cilantro was like $2. I think all in all, the most expensive piece of this was probably the chicken broth, right? We had 3 cups of chicken broth, and that was probably like $4 or so, and this lettuce, or the spinach, was probably, all in all, maybe like $3 and change. I would say if we added everything together, the amounts that we used, we're at less than $10. We've covered in here now, we've covered fat, we've covered, green vegetables and phytoplants, minerals. We've certainly got fluids in there. It's detoxing. The thing that's missing from this, and we thought about this earlier, would be some actual dense protein. We do have the chicken broth in there, and there's going to be a little protein in the broth, but not a whole lot. So the thing that's missing from this is a protein source. And again, you don't have to have a protein with every meal. Tomorrow night I'll make some chicken. We like tonight, we're going to have I think this is a vegan, this would be vegan. So we're going to eat vegan tonight, and tomorrow we'll have chicken, right? So again, we're following those rules of Michael Pollan from the Omnivore's Dilemma, which are eat real food, mostly plants, and not too much. So like I said, we got $10 in soup here. It's going to feed a family of 3. I have 8 cups of soup. So I don't know how much soup we're going to eat tonight, but I doubt that the 3 of us are going to eat 8 full cups of soup. Maybe 6 if we are really hungry, but probably closer to about 4.5 cups. And that's going to leave us, about 3.5 cups or a couple servings for tomorrow. And again, we're gonna with about a $2 a serving detox soup. So that was really simple to make. I followed a recipe, but you can make any variation on this theme that you want. And it's super simple, it's super healthy, it tastes great, it smells great. You could couple this if you really wanted with some chicken breast or another protein, but again, tonight we're gonna go vegan. Listen, I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe. Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget that we want to post our recipes, post pictures of the final product, and if you want to shoot a video, bonus points, right? Every time that you submit a recipe, so just like I did here in the comments, I'm going to submit the recipe for you guys. I'll add my modifications into the comments of how I cooked it for the Instant Pot, and I'm going to count my video as my picture. But every time you guys do something like that, we're going to not only collect your recipes and put them into an ebook, and then share that at the end of this. We're going to start putting it together at the end of the week. And then, like Natalie said, we'll have that available for you guys next week. And everybody that's registered, if you're on our registration for this detox, and you can still register, it's not too late. We will send you that ebook with all those recipes, and we'll even tag your name, as the person that submitted it, and that's fantastic. And then we're going to take all of the recipes that got submitted, throw them into like a lottery drawing, draw one recipe, and that person that submitted that recipe is going to win a prize. So we're going to probably be drawing that. I don't know if we'll draw it at, on Friday, at the end of the session on Friday between 1 and 2. That's probably when we'll do it. But if we for some reason decide to wait until next week, we might wait until next week and give everybody a full chance to get the recipes in over the weekend if we need to. So that all said, guys, thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to hear about your recipes, try your recipes, and listen, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Guys, this is the week where it's going to be the healthiest week of 2020. Not only is this fun and easy to do, but we're laying down the foundation for future health to come. If you are interested in taking your health to the next level, and you'd like to book a private consultation with myself, my team, all you need to do is go to, and I'll put this in the notes, calendly.com/epicfmc/enrollment, and we're going to connect you with our enrollment coordinator, and she is going to just chat with you about how we get the amazing outcomes that we do, how we are able to transform folks that have been suffering from chronic illnesses into seeing their labs get better, their symptoms get better, their happiness improve, their connections with their family, their kids, their energy, their weight coming off. I mean, the list goes on and on. I want to see that transformation for you. If you're looking for help, we are offering to everyone that's in this group a complimentary consultation. Just schedule. I'll put the link, and man, if it's a good fit, we're going to help you out. If for some reason it's not a good fit, stay in the group, but we'll help you find the right functional medicine clinic or medical clinic that you need to resolve the issues that you're still suffering with. So listen, I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.